The new year has just started and it's time for New Year's resolution. I thought this year I'm going to do something else. And so my resolution is to use up some of the stash yarn that I've had in some cases for many years actually. Um, that's what I'm trying to do this year. As I said, so some of these yarns I've had for many, many years, and I've been going through my stash only recently because I just recently moved. And destashed some of it, but lots of the things I kept. I mean, most of the things I kept, of course. I'm not going to get rid of the good yarn that I have. So, but because some of these are quite old, I am determined that this year, 2025, is the year I'm actually going to use these things. And I thought I'd make it a video and make this form of a bigger project so that I can be held accountable, if only by myself. You know, if nobody else just says that. But if just for myself, I want to say, okay, I am determined to use these things up and make things with them. And at the end of the year, hopefully, have made a bit of a dent in the stash and have space for more yarns because one of the things I kind of have to be, honest with myself and everybody else is I am going to buy more yarn this year. I'm not putting myself on strict restriction or anything, just buying things that I need. No, I know I'm going to buy more yarn that I don't need, that I won't have any clear project in mind for. So um, I'm not going to kid myself. However, I am going to talk through the yarns that I have put aside for something I'm going to do this year, and I'm going to show it. And as I said, hopefully by the end of the year, I can make another video and show how much this little stash that I have here has gone down. So let's start off with actually something I am working on at the moment, which is this blanket. It is called the Marin blanket. Um, is absolutely beautiful, and what really attracted me to is that the wrong side of it also looks really beautiful. I mean, that's the wrong side, right? If somebody gave you this blanket and said this is the right side, you'd be very happy, but then you see the right side and it makes it even happier. I do not like cables. This is slowing me down quite a bit. The fact that it is cables. um However, yeah, I'm going to have to finish that by the end of the month because by the end of the month I want to gift it to the final recipient. Why it is part of this project is that this yarn, I bought this yarn a few years ago for another baby blanket, and back then I bought too much, which is rarely what happens. I usually buy not enough. Anyway, so I had 2.5 balls of this left. It's super soft. It's 100% acrylic, but it's so soft it doesn't pill, or at least as far as I can tell, it doesn't pill. It is supposed to be not pilling. It is great, and it already, as I said, so this is the last ball. I had two more of these. Already made such a dent. This is why this is kind of part of the project, even if I started this last year, technically. But I'm going to finish it this year, so this is why it's here. Right, so now this is, I mean, you can't really see it, but basically this is the stuff that I put aside for projects for this year. Let's start with this one. So I bought, at some point I bought 3 cones of this one, which is 450 grams altogether, and I have this much left, which should be around 250 or something. I made a beautiful scarf out of this, and I'm going to make more beautiful scarves out of this. So I have 2 patterns in mind possible for this one. I'm going to find out which one I'm actually going to use it for, or if I'm going to do both. I might have actually enough for both. This is a beautiful, very dark blue. You'll be excused if you think this is black. It's not, but it's amazing. It's fairly soft. It's not the softest of soft yarns, but it's fairly soft. It's 100% wool. It's a heavyweight lace yarn, and as I made something with this, I know the yarn stitch definition is really good, so I'm looking forward to using more of this and also getting rid of it. Next up, we have this big ball of yarn. I've had in my stash for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. It's much more like a wine red than it looks on camera. I can see it in the viewfinder here. Um, this is half acrylic, half wool. I've got this years ago from the Isle of Wight. It's kind of almost a souvenir yarn, but I also wanted to make one of the patterns in 52 weeks of shawls from it, and that's what I'm going to do. The reason I haven't used it so far is because this is, it's not quite bulky yarn. It's definitely not bulky. It is a lot more bulky than what I usually work with if you compare it to the lovely lace here. But anyway, so I'm going to make a scarf out of this. It's going to be also, again, I think it's cable. I don't quite remember which pattern I picked out for this yarn. It's some mix of cable and lace. It's going to be really nice, and at least at that point I will have used up all of this, which has, you know, taken up a lot of space in my storage so far. So I'm looking forward to that. Good. Next up, actually this one just, I'm currently working on another project with blue mohair. This is mohair. This is going to go into that project. So not much to talk about this. I'm already working on it, so this is definitely going to be used up. We are continuing with the reds and mohair. So I've got these 3 balls of mohair. I love working with mohair a lot. I'm very fortunate that I'm not allergic to mohair, or I don't find it itchy at all. I really like it. I'm a big lace knitter, and I love using mohair for lace because honestly I find nothing gives you better stitch definition for lace, and there is nothing really, you barely have to block it. You can just use it. I just absolutely love it. I fell in love with the red ones, but truth be told, it doesn't matter if it's mohair. I'll take it. I'll just, yeah. I don't think there's anything better. I love mohair so much, so much, and I'm using this like this, right? I'm not doubling it up with anything else. I just love it. I just big fan. Then we have this stuff, which I should probably take out. Um, so I have 2 of this there and 1 of this. It is the same line. It is Signet Boho Spirit or something. This is also acrylic. So my story with this is I've had this for at least 4 years. I saw this in a window once of a charity shop. It wasn't, it's new yarn, but anyway, I saw it in a window of a charity shop. Thought that the color is just brilliant. I fell in love with the colors. Went into this shop, just um, touched this. It's so soft. It is so soft. You can't imagine how soft this is. On top of it being super pretty, it is very thin yarn. It's basically at most sock yarn. And what I want to do with this is to make this into a little baby blanket, both of them together. So it's not quite color work. It's more going to be like a slip stitch things. I do have a pattern in mind. It's going to work up really quickly. It's quite simple, but hopefully really beautiful, and it's going to make somebody really happy about this. Acrylic is not my favorite thing. However, I do use it for baby blankets and baby stuff because you can wash it. Because you know that whoever is going to get it can just throw it into the washing machine, not think about it twice, and it will come out just the way it went in. And there's more red. So this one, I have a few balls of this one left over. So this isn't so much stash. This is scrap yarn. So is that better? Is that worse? I don't know. Basically, I made a jumper out of this, and my problem, not problem, not problem. So when I bought this, I didn't read the label, pretty much. That's my problem. That is absolutely my fault as well. I looked at this and I thought it was 50 grams. For me, jumper quantity of yarn when I knit in my size is about 500 grams, give or take, right? So I know I need 500 grams to make a jumper. I wanted to make a jumper. I had a pattern picked out, and I bought 10 balls of this, thinking this is 50 grams. And then I started making the jumper, and I realized that this is not 50 grams. This is actually 100 grams, which I realized when I didn't have to change, or add a new ball of yarn for a long time. And so I have made a complete jumper out of this. The yarn is absolutely beautiful. So that's the big thing, right? The big takeaway. This is Debbie Bliss Piper. I'm not sure they still make this yarn. Actually, I think I looked it up, and I either the color don't have it anymore, or they don't make the yarn anymore. This yarn has absolute stunning stitch definition. So I'm just so in love with it. I mean, it is cotton viscose mix, so didn't expect anything less. So cotton and viscose usually work out really well anyway, so not a big surprise there. But the big surprise really was how well it held stitches. So I am going to make another baby blanket, I think. Either baby blanket or shawl. I do have quite a lot of it still left. I bought a kilo of all, and I'm going to use a stitch. I think I've seen a pattern I like years ago. It's called the Little Moons by Pearl Soho, I believe. I hope I can still find the pattern because it's been a few years. I think this yarn is going to be really well because it is a stitch where you want to see the stitch, where you want to see the details of the stitch, and I know this is going to show off the stitch really well. So looking forward to that. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've been keeping this yarn for years, always thinking it is too good to be used for anything that I'm not 100% convinced of. And I still think I'm still thinking that even knowing that I've had this in mind with the Little Moons blanket for years, I'm still thinking, is the pattern good enough for this yarn? Because they don't make this anymore. And this is beautiful. So it has such a good sheen, and when it works up, it is almost glittery. There's no glitter at all in this. So it's just a viscose, which obviously behaves a bit like silk almost. The sheen of this, the color of this, the stitch definition. This is brilliant yarn, and I do not want to use it because I don't think I can get this anymore. So this is something that has been in my stash for a few years and not been used because I think it is too good to be used for anything. So, but this year I'm determined to actually use it and make something equally beautiful and yeah, just nice out of it. Something great. And lastly, we have a sweater quantity of this. So I'm not going to show you all of that. It's just 10 balls of this Willow and Lark Ramble. I've used this yarn in different colors for a few different projects. So I've already made a jumper out of this. I've made a very big scarf out of this. I've made another scarf out of it. I've made lots of things with the Willow and Ramble. So this is superwash wool. It doesn't say what kind of wool. I've got a full kilogram of this, so that should be enough for a sweater. When I bought this originally, I thought I'm going to make a cable knit sweater with this. However, as I've said earlier, cables aren't really my favorite thing to make. I like looking at it a lot. I think cables are absolutely beautiful, and I'm always really jealous if I see somebody having a cable knit jumper. I just don't like making them. This has been in my stash for a while as well, and this year is the year I'm going to use this to make a jumper out of it. It's not going to be cable. It's going to be quite a plain jumper with possibly a hoodie because I have a lot more yarn. So not just this blue. I have the same yarn in different colors. So I might make a hoodie out of it even maybe. Um, let's see. Again, use this yarn up quite a bit. It also has a really good stitch definition. Really works up really well. So yeah, wool, sometimes I find wool very fuzzy in a way when it comes to stitch definition. So this one behaves much more like a cotton yarn in that regard. So it is really good for patterns. If you have some kind of intricate pattern, I can absolutely recommend this. This will show up your pattern really well. So that's good. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. So anyway, this is my idea for projects this year. I still I'm working currently on the yellow blanket that I showed you, the maroon blanket. I also have two other things I'm working on. I'm working on a t-shirt at the moment that I'm about to be finished with. I just put it on actually to check, and I think it's a bit too short for me, so I think I'm just going to add a few more centimeter. Then I'm finished. This one and so this one being the yellow one. As I said, I have the blue shawl that I've started earlier. And after that, I don't know what I'm going to make first. Just looking at all of the yarns here, all of them are great. All of them, I have good ideas for all of them. I don't know which one I want to start with. I can't even decide which one I want to do first. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. Anyway, I hope that this kind of video project helps me, you know, be accountable or be kept accountable for what I'm doing this year, and that I do a lot more things almost by plan rather than just buying more wool and using it up. Because usually what happens is I do so half of the wool that I buy in a year I use almost immediately, and then the other half goes into the stash to be there for years and years on end, possibly never to be used. So I do want to use my yarn. I do like all of the yarn. I hope I made that very clear when I just talked about, especially the red stuff that I have here. I am excited to use them. I feel like they also they deserve to be used up. So I hope I can do that this year. I'll keep you updated.